Hello, Steve here. Welcome to Real Health. Who'd have thought health is about what we're eating? Join me on my quest to disseminate my go-to health regimen, the Health 44, my clumsy branding of eliminating 4 classes of food, introducing 4 classes of micronutrients. Bingo, bongo, health sorted. So thank you for your interest. Let's do this. Welcome again. Here we go. Genetic marker fallacy. So I've done a few episodes on it's not about the genes, gene therapy. I've also listed gene therapy as being ineffectual. It won't have any efficacy, and pick your negative for genetics and health. But I'm dedicating this one to genetic markers. The whole idea of genetic marker, ApoE, Apo little a, THA, all these genetic codes, genetic markers to suggest if you have this gene, you will get this particular condition, disease. But we're working on gene therapy to remedy the situation. Until now, and until ever, there won't be a genetic therapy treatment that will be of high efficacy or any efficacy, because illness is not about gene mutation and it's in your genes, it's in your family history. Therefore, we're extrapolating family history. It's now got to be the genes because genes are part of family, aren't they? They are. But the correlation doesn't mean causation. And the only causation that there is that runs in families, which we then think it's genetic, is that you eat the same shit, you have the same sort of food sensitivities, excuse me, and you are in a part of the world which I've been starting to suggest that life is becoming homogenized, particularly with diets, but also with lifestyle and activity, where everybody's exposed the detrimental health ideas. We're all exposed at the same rate. And those blue zones, the ethnicities with this and that condition, and it's all going to be converging. Everybody is going to become more unwell, more ill, and more diseased, because the 2.2 regulars will know where I'm going here. It's the micronutrients. We are all lacking of micronutrient. We're lacking of micronutrients, which means we have micronutrient deficiencies, and we need to remedy that. And that starts with digestion, absorption, and then dependable daily supply of micronutrients. And eating well, eating healthy, eating a balanced diet will not cut it. Will not cut it. So that's where we get genes are going to save us. Genetic therapy are going to save us. And if you have a particular genetic marker, we do this, we tinker that, we do this test, we do that test, and then we can put you on this, therefore you'll be saved. If that is the case, and it doesn't work for 100% of people, then it doesn't deserve to be a theory. Micronutrients also doesn't deserve to be a theory, because not everyone will respond at the same rate, because a 35-year-old and a 55-year-old starting on what I prescribe here, the Health 44, may have had birth defects to contend with, which we haven't quite identified yet, and that sort of thing. Because if you have a birth defect, you can't fix that. many birth defects. You can be born with osteoporosis. You can be, there's, I don't want to mention the LGBTIQ plus thing. That's got me in some trouble in the past. But you can be diabetic as a newborn. You can have grey hair as a newborn. The risk factor of older women having Down syndrome kids has also disappeared from the lexicon. A teen mum can have a Down syndrome child because in the past, a 40-year-old mother that just gave birth, Down syndrome, micronutrient deficiencies. And usually, the older you are, the less micronutrients you have in your physiology, and you're getting daily in your physiology. These days, it starts from childhood because our food supply chain is stuffed. It's a bit harrowing, it's a bit negative and all that sort of thing. Well, we need to be. I need to suggest it is negative because we have this great food. It might look great, it might taste great, but if we're lacking minerals in the soil, it's not ending up in the crops. And our food, if it's not in the crops, it's not in the food, and then it doesn't end up into us, into our physiology. Add on that, if you think that health is all about move more, eat less, becoming an athlete, be a gym rat, do marathons, pick your poison in the athletic activity sphere, you'll get into worse shape because sweat also leaches the micronutrients that we're heading towards, the different physiology that we're heading towards. Well, pretty much all cells, okay? It's a bad situation that we're in to be clutching the different straws. Oh, it's the environment. Oh, it's lifestyle. That was my last episode, or a couple ago. Then we get the genes, and then we get the move more, eat less people. Then you get the social influences. Then you get the PhD social influences that touts genetic marker this and that. And then those same PhD influences, I'm going to name one, Peter Attia. Oh, those 4 genes that lead to Alzheimer's Alzheimer's and dementia. Oh, Mr. Hemsworth, you got 2 of those. Ooh, he goes. And then in the same breath, almost in the same breath, there are 100-year-olds that are still walking around knowing who they are with 3 of those 4 gene mutations, or the genes that suggest that you'll have a high risk. And the idea of including risk as part of the occurrence, the risk of how many then? How many people with 3 of those gene mutations should, if they live to 100, should have Alzheimer's? If it's 1 in 2, then even that theory is blown out of the water. Recent study I've come across, it's getting a bit of social media exposure. Lean mass hyper-responders with LDLs of over 200 in the US scales. The millimoles? Or is it the deciliters? I don't know. I don't even want to know because we don't really understand even cholesterol. So there's even a book out by I'd like to have him as a mentor, but he's getting on a bit, and even he's made errors in his life, but he shouldn't have lived to the age of about 85 at where he is now, Dr. Joel Wallach. He probably should have died many decades ago, the way he was perhaps had birth defects as well. Almost institutionalized at the age of 9 and that sort of thing. He's probably extended his life by a couple of decades as it is. But his book, the failed theory of the genetic transmission of disease, and that's an inspiration for what a lot of the content which I cover here. I disagree with Dr. Joel Wallach's thoughts that the mainstream healthcare complex, the allopaths, the MDs are nefarious. They're not nefarious. They're just like any other schmo out there that just clutches at straws because that aspirin worked, because that steroidal worked, and because that antibiotic has just saved your life. That's not all of health. That's just emergency medicine. So emergency medicine, great. I've had a couple of emergency medicine run-ins in the last year, and great. Love you guys. But to use emergency medicine in chronic disease, autoimmune disease, and beyond, it's not deserved. I've mentioned the whole movement back in 1911, that sort of thing, where I got an episode pulled because of that, but that's not even nefarious. It's like Christ on the cross. They don't know what they're doing. We're just the arse end of what they think is best, what they think is right. And we are on the pointy stick end of what we think the powers that be is right. But let me tell you, it's wrong. Genetic therapy, genetic mutation, gene scripting, the gene expression that leads to disease is all a failed theory. It's not failed yet. They haven't realized yet. They're doubling down. They, mainstream health, allopathic medical mainstream. I'm not blaming for what they're doing. They do try. You could tell by the sort of research that is being attempted that they are doing it for the effort of good. But they double down on what they think is good, and then everything is massaged, and then gene therapy continues. And if you have those genetic markers to suggest that you'll get even breast cancer, and your genetic markers to suggest that heart disease, never mind that crappy diet you're engaging in. So it's all about the micronutrients, and because I've mentioned that it's all about the micronutrients, I get many one-off listeners, of course, viewers now as well. I'll quickly run through what I do. I've got my health model, which is the Health 44. Do the 44 and health happens, depending on your age, depending on your weight. I've halved my body weight with it, but here we go. The Health 44 is taking away 90% plus of the supermarket. So the first 4 of the 44 is taking away 4 classes of food. Glutens, oils, sugars, and nitrates, nitrites. Out. Then you bring in the 4 classes of micronutrients, in which makes up 90 declared essential micronutrients. They are declared because our body can't make ample amounts, at least, and also we need fresh supply every day. 60 of those are minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 essential amino acids, 2 essential fatty acids in a short time. And in the naturopathic space, you need months maybe even 18 months and a couple of years to get over your newly acquired chronic illness that you may have, which includes the metabolic syndrome complex, your obesity, blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, all that sort of thing. And there's a few nuances in the first rule of 44, like the gluten also includes oats, also includes buckwheat, and I would suggest going off grains altogether. It's okay to have some exposure to grains, rice, corn, soy, those sort of things are okay, but they're sprayed a lot. Opt for organic sources perhaps. I even spent a couple of years fairly heavy considering on rice and corn, a bit of quinoa, that sort of thing, and yeah, I'm off that. And without even suggesting that I do much activity, I don't really. 1 minute a day of calisthenics, literally 1 minute. I've improved out of sight in the last 6 months, being heavy keto. The reason why I'm not carnivore is I have a bit of Greek yogurt on my eggies and on my steak or a burger patty for dinner. And in a full 12-month period, I might have a couple of serves of fruit, a couple of serves of veg, and that's it. So that's my lot. So that's the Health 44. And that, compared to genetic markers, genetic theory of disease transmission and gene therapy, all the different, the CRISPR this and the all these other genetic derivatives that have entered our sphere, compared to digesting, absorbing, and getting dependable daily supply of the micronutrients, genetics, gene therapy, and knowing your genetic markers won't even hold a candle to what micronutrients digestion and absorption will do. That is my address to genetic markers equals disease. Start to understand the micronutrients, and you won't need to lurch to that side of the ship with a genetic therapy. Oh, this therapy over here. Oh, that modality. Oh, that guru. Micronutrients. Simple as that. Until the next time, bye-bye.